What's up guys, this is Astranox. In this video I want to talk about my demon spawn character in the season 8 of Hero Siege. I play in hardcore exclusively. Initially I started playing an illusionist, and that was in Odyssey, which is solo self-found hardcore. So you can see my illusionist is here, and I started, the season 8 started on the early September. It was 12th September, but I started on the 20th of September playing, right? So a bit over a week after the release of season 8, and I saw that no one reached level 100 on an illusionist in hardcore Odyssey. So I was kind of like rushing, but I didn't put that many hours early on. And I was like, maybe, like, I was like getting there, right? But then someone got the level 100. So that was like, what was it? Like 11 days after the season started. So I was surprised it took that long. I guess the class is not so popular. But I learned, I found out, right? Because I've never played an illusionist before. And the class is busted. But this video is about my demon spawn. Since my gear is on the demon spawn right now, I'll swap gear over to the illusionist on probably my second video for like the season 8 of Hero Siege. It comes pretty late for, you know, the season having started like a month, but right now, you know, I'm having fun with Hero Siege. I'm playing a lot of different ARPGs, but at this very moment I'm putting hours into Hero Siege because the items that you can get in this game, there's a lot of different rarities and gear that is extremely hard to find, and it's a lot of fun if you can use the piece, or if you just like sell what you cannot use and, you know, trade for stuff that you can use. So initially I was playing solo self-found, right? But then I was like, you know what, I'm like finding all this gear and some of it I can't use it. So, you know, like, I feel like trading would be better because then I could try a lot of different classes and make, you know, build guide videos for you guys, and I could experiment much more in a trade league, in a trade season, right? So that's what I did. After reaching 100 and reaching hero level 23, which, I mean, I'm in the leaderboard, and like there's not that many people playing solo self-found hardcore. But then after that, I was like, okay, there we go. I'm going in a hardcore where I can trade. And I made the illusionist again because I was like, what if I can push the build further, right? Because my damage on the illusionist on this one, it's like, let's say, like 10 million, right? 10 million multi-target AoE with Age of Proliferation, which is actually really fun and crazy. And I got very surprised by that, right? And then this illusionist ended up with close to like 100 million DPS, right? So like I was able to get better gear, of course, which, you know, made things much easier. And yeah, I've been having a blast with that illusionist, which I reached hero level 36. And after that, I was like, you know what? Since I'm gearing for arcane damage, arcane spell damage, which is actually really good to do, it's hard because it costs more for the pieces, because most of the caster classes, characters, are, a lot of them are mostly arcane spell damage based, right? So I figured like maybe I build that so I can try a lot of other different classes with kind of like the same gear set, which is, yeah, it's very enticing for me. I really like it. So then I made that illusionist, right? Reach hero level 36. I didn't lose any character. And then I made a demon spawn because I've never played the demon spawn. So I was like, let me experiment with that character, because I have all of them unlocked beside the bard. The bard is the newest one, so I'll be getting that later, right? But yeah, demon spawn hardcore, the trade league, not the Odyssey, not solo self-found. And I've been mostly playing, initially I started with a necromancer, you know, that's like a few seasons back. And then I had a lot of fun with the samurai, right? And then I tried the demon slayer, because after I made the samurai, I actually made some other ones, right? You can see after starting in hardcore, later on, I decided to do softcore to try some stuff out, because some gear is not obtainable and I wanted to try stuff out. in softcore, which I did again on another samurai. And then, yeah, as you can see, like a samurai here, right? So I got one here, one here, one here, 3. And so I got 3 level 100 samurai, right? So I really like that class. And then I made the Demon Slayer, and that's like bullet hell with like with the gun. It's a lot of fun. Had a lot of fun with the Demon Slayer. And then I brought, what is it, 2 of them to 100. So you can see hero level 24 and then hero level 40. And you can see my playtime here on the classes. So the Illusionist, when I did the solo self-found one, I think I reached level 100. It was slow, right? Because I reached it in like 16 hours, I think. And it felt slow because like I'm picking up a lot of gear, you know, like a filter, I had to tune stuff, and I'm not really rushing. But then after that, I made the other one, and I really didn't trade like at all to reach level 100 with the Illusionist in hardcore, not solo self-found. But I've reached it in like 10 hours, right? So that was crazy. And then when I made the Demonspawn, of course I had gear already. It was easier, right? But still, the Demonspawn, I was cruising. Like, it was crazy. The Demonspawn, I've reached level 100. I mean, now I have more hours into it. 19 hours. Illusionist, I have nearly 60 hours into. But the Demonspawn, it was under 7 hours that I've reached level 100. And I'm just destroying everything as I'm running. It's crazy. Jumping around and, like, speed running through the game. So it was very smooth, the Demonspawn. Even smoother than my usual like samurai run or Demon Slayer. But the thing is, for hardcore, Illusionist is one of the best class to start with. And I'll talk more on to that like on my next video when I break down the Illusionist. But this video is about the Demonspawn. Yeah, it's gonna be a lengthy video. I prefer to do lengthier ones. You know, I gotta, you know, talk about a bunch of different things, and you know, like I wanted to give the breakdown of the account, which I haven't really done. I brought an EXO to 100, but a lot of things changed in Hero Siege since. That's the thing. So I want to try a lot of different things, and yeah, I mean, like, let's go with the Demonspawn, right? So let's go in there. So I play in China. It's just because I'm in Asia right now, and that's like the better ping that I can get. So I'm playing with, you know, 250 to 300 ping. That's what I play with. I don't know why I get this achievement every time I go in the game. I'm not quite sure why. So the Demonspawn. Now this character is yeah, they're pretty interesting. So okay, that's the dummy I want to see here, because I want to show you guys the damage and why the Demonspawn is actually broken. This build is ridiculous. This is hardcore. 400 intelligence. I didn't put any point in vitality. As you can see, I have 4,400 health. It's reasonable, but my Illusionist has nearly like 7,000-ish HP. Illusionist much easier to start with in hardcore on your first character, and I might just do the same thing on season 9, and season 9 looks pretty crazy. So that is my gear. Now, of course, this is pretty budget. If you play softcore, these things shouldn't be too expensive actually, and in hardcore the economy is very different. Like, a lot of the high runes sell for nothing. Like right now I got, you know, Zed sells for like 300,000, 280,000 I think was the lowest one. I just made my Enigma. It's the first time ever that I made an Enigma in Hero Siege. And yeah, of course, it's insane. It's speeding things a lot, speeding things tremendously. And the base is a damage taken reduced by 331. That is a broken stat in Hero Siege. You're basically immortal for like against hits that are 331 or less, and that you can stack, right? There's Defender's Justice, the shield, which I'm actually going to be purchasing because I want to push. you know, since I'm basically blind, it's basically still a blind playthrough for, you know, a lot of like bosses that I haven't done, like what is it, like Uber bosses, right? A lot of them. So Defender's Justice, which drops in Act 2, Zone 1 to 5. So that's really good about Hero Siege. You can target farm. It makes solo self-found a lot more enjoyable, right? But it's so random what you're able to get. Like, you might look out and like you're playing solo self-found and you're like, you get like an angelic, like extremely insane. Like the drop rate are very low. It's like so hard to get them. But what if you get one that's not for your build, and then you would basically have to make like a new character to use it if it doesn't work for your build? There's a lot of them. So by rarity, you can see like angelic shields, right? I mean, there's a lot of angelic stuff. But anyways, I'm not gonna go over that. I just wanted to talk about Defender's Justice. So I'm gonna go for that shield because, I mean, this is 250 damage taken, damage taken reduced by 250, plus the shield, the body armor, which can reach up to 350. Damage taken reduced by 350. So together, that is 600 reduction, and that works after your resistances. So basically you want to bring that to 75 or more, or try to increase your maximum resistances. And then you can also get the physical damage reduction and magical damage reduction to high amounts. You can reach like 75% on both of them, right? So like there's a lot of room for improvement, and damage reduced by 331 makes it so much easier for you to survive a lot of stuff. Now, even with this character in Hell 1, which I can do Hell 2, I could maybe do Hell 3, but the reason why I'm doing Hell 1 is that I find it much more efficient, right? Because I can just walk past the monsters and they all go down, and I have 266% magic find. You have 150 in Hell 1, and then I have this necklace, right, which gives me the rest of the magic find, almost the majority of the rest. And that is making it so much better to just magic find, you know, to get potentially some crazy drops, some heroics, but like angelic. I didn't find any angelic so far. But yeah, my weapon, so this is you know, all skills and arcane skills. You basically, you want to stack, because my skill is Bone Storm. Now, I don't know what the meta is. I tried the other stuff. Big cooldown. I've tried different things, right? Like, I've played around with these things, and I reset them because it's free. That's great. You can just reset these things. But that's my build right now. And I played around with all the other stuff, and I figured, like, that ended up being pretty beast. Like, really high damage. And, yeah, I've tried the other skills, right? And I have the staff for Blood Surge and Blood Tendrils, and that might be the meta. I can see the potential, but then I found out a trick with Bone Storm, and it makes Bone Storm insane against single target damage. So you're taking out ACK bosses, it's a breeze. They just get melted in seconds. I mean, normal, of course, nightmare, and even hell. You melt ACK bosses, it might take more than 5 seconds. You know, sometimes they have different phases, so they become immortal, and you have to, you know, take out the ads and then come back. So it will take like maybe like, okay, 10 to 30 seconds to take out the ACK bosses. But compared to my illusionist, compared to my samurai, compared to, okay, the necromancer I didn't push enough. I think like you can snapshot like your damage and swap to survivability gear. I think they might have fixed that. I saw some comments about that, because I've noticed that was completely broken. Like, you could create your whole army with all your skillers and like whatever gear that has the like plus skill and like arcane damage and all that, and swap to survivability gear, and you're able to just like, well, if your army survives, which it will, you're gonna be able to melt everything, and then your character will have insane survivability, because you can put Defender's Justice. You can have, you know, your armor with like damage taken reduced by 350. You can have like boost your maximum resistances. You can put charms that have life everywhere, right? Because that's what I do to increase my survivability, I'm in hardcore, so I gotta go full on life, right? And I mean, I use this for the stats, for the resistance, the movement speed, the all skill. It's a very nice one, actually. And I lucked out from the Act 1 Hell Boss. On my Illusionist, this dropped. And look at the rolls. This is almost, I mean, it's not perfect, but it's like really high up there. That 18% life increase and, you know, 763 life. Insane. Like, remove that. Not even 3,000 life. This is 1,500 HP increase, just this charm, which is insane. That's completely insane, right? So yeah, that's my charms. Just basically survivability for hardcore as much as possible. And you know, you can get some skill ups to boost your damage. That one's actually pretty nice, like getting a combo vitality plus life. But of course, like getting something like, I guess you can get vitality plus life percentage together. That would be crazy. Or maybe you can get all three on a what is it, a heroic charm, like the purple one. So yeah, anyways, I found all this stuff myself. Made this recently. The Enigma really speed things up. I will be showing some gameplay, of course. I'll show you guys the DPS on the target demi, and then I'll be going through some gameplay. And the Spell Eater, you don't really care about mana replenishment. You don't care about the fact that it's triggering mana devour. It's really about the skill ups. It's really about arcane skill damage. Arcane skill damage, of course, boosts the damage of the skill, because this is the skill here. It's arcane damage. And faster cast rate, I don't think it actually boosts your damage, right? I think you're just casting it faster. That's it, when you do it. And the crazy thing about this skill is that if you put spell haste, if you put where's my spell haste? My spell haste is on my boots. Skill haste. If you have skill haste, you reduce the cooldown of this skill. 5.45 second. Initially it's like 8 second. I'm not 100% sure. So you're basically able to have two running at the same time. Yeah, you can see it's 8 second cooldown at the bottom, on the top right. So yeah, you can, the majority of the time, for majority of the time, for 2.5 seconds, you're gonna have two of them running at the same time with my current gear. And it basically doubles the damage. But I feel like, yeah, it basically doubles the damage during that time. And then there's this thing that keeps on triggering and dealing insane amount of burst damage, especially versus single target, right? So you got the synergies to boost the damage. You go full intelligence, right? I activate the Omnious Aura to increase my arcane damage as well. So of course, like, there's a lot of room for improvement using all skill ups, because it's going to be boosting the aura, it's going to be boosting all the damage all over the place. You're going to be able to get, like, here more defense, more movement speed when you kill. All this stuff helps. And I tried the mana shield. I can basically spec out of it, but I mean, you could use this for survivability. I need to experiment more with it. I feel like that's good, but the problem is that it only lasts 16 seconds. So I would have to, like, keep using it all the time. Now I'm gonna be experimenting with this, but that magic damage reduction, right, 12%, that's pretty nice. And mana conversion, is that saying that 56% of the damage you're gonna be taking is gonna be taken off of your mana? Now the thing is, I don't have such a big mana pool, so it's not that useful, right? But I definitely want to try more. I want to play around with that thing and see how I can boost my survivability, right? And here, more arcane skill damage. This, I mean, you're just casting this and then you hit the cooldown. So, like, yes, this trigger when you teleport, let's say, but nothing crazy. If you want, you could be casting Bone Fragments, which I try, and at that point it really doesn't help that much for the damage. It's really like, just get that and avoid stuff. Like, you just cast it, that's the skill, right? And then you can have another one. So you can see now it's running. Look at that, there's two of them going on, and then when you see them turn into blood, that's like it's despawning. But that's crazy. That's crazy, the damage. You're gonna be seeing the damage in a moment. Okay, so that's the build, right? Like, full intelligence, and you can see this is my spell stats. You can see ignore arcane resistance, 74, that's very important, right? Pretty sure you can bring enemies into negative arcane resistance. You know, can really break their arcane resistance, which will boost your damage tremendously. And they changed how flat elemental skill damage works. Like, it used to be much higher amounts, but now it's just a few points increase, and it really boosts your damage quite a lot. So of course, if I was in softcore, I wouldn't go for all these this life. And of course, like, if you can get like a killer with like arcane skill damage, that would be insane. That would be insane. But of course, getting all these like these elite like boss charms, like the crazy stuff like your torch, you're gonna get a lot of skill ups, gonna get a lot of like all stats, a lot of your resist increase like that. And then you don't have to worry about like your resist on gear, because I have like a satanic eye, which like, yeah, it's not really boosting my damage at all, right? So yeah, okay, I'll go over all the gear, because I've been talking about a bunch of different things. So the really cool thing about satanic gear now is that you can corrupt them and bring them, I mean, not corrupt them, you don't want to corrupt them. You're going to be using this currency here, the Destiny Shard. So you use that on, you know, a satanic piece of equipment, and you don't want it to corrupt. You just want the star level to go up. But it's something like 1 chance out of 3 to just straight up corrupt the item. I don't know the actual odd, but I actually bought this helm already made, right? Because I've tried to corrupt a bunch of items and it all failed. I've lost a bunch of pieces of gear. It didn't feel good, right? The star level was going up, and then boom, corrupt, it becomes trash. Like, it's basically unusable, because like the all skills, all the stuff goes to very low values. It's bricked basically. So it sucks when you have to do it, but if you're lucky, you can do some crazy stuff, right? There's an amulet, the one that has all skills plus arcane skills. If you bring it to 5-star, it's actually a level 14 or 16 amulet, which is insane. If you bring it to 5-star, it becomes +5 all skills, +5 arcane skills. 10 skill ups from an amulet. I think that's broken. I think that's not supposed to be like that, right? Because I think star level brought to 5, it's kind of like doubling the stats on the gear. So that's normally a +1 all skills and +2 arcane skills. How does it become +5 all skills, +5 arcane skill? Who knows? But that's broken. Like, I would use that if I had it fully corrupted. There's some selling for 2 million. Doesn't sound like much compared to softcore, because in softcore is like stuff sells for like tens of millions, hundreds of million, insane inflation happening. But at least your high runes, if you find them, like a Zed or a Bear Jaw, like they sell for like tens to 100 million. So like, I found a lot of them, and I could have a lot of gold, and I could purchase a lot of good gear in softcore if I played there. But in hardcore, it's much different, the market, right? Much different. It's much more worth it picking gear and selling it for gold to the vendor, because then you can purchase stuff, which is how I purchase most of my gear. I just pick a bunch of garbage, you know, and just vendor it. That's, you get gold like that, and then you purchase stuff from the market. So yeah, getting skill ups, getting arcane skill, damage increase, especially reducing the enemy's arcane resistance. That's why I'm using this staff, but I would much rather prefer using a one-hander plus a shield, especially with Defender's Justice, with like reduction of 250 damage taken. That's insane. That's insane. With you know, a rune ward for your chest, because before I actually moved them over. Yeah, so you can see damage taken reduced by 294. That was my previous chest, which I use on my illusionist, right? That thing's beast. 5 to maximum all resistance. Like, all your resistances are increased, the maximum by 5% is insane, right? So that with the damage taken reduction is very, very powerful. So definitely a great shield that's very cheap to make. I mean, body armor. But then when you get that Enigma, it's a lot of fun with the teleport, especially when you have cast rate, and that staff makes it, you know, it works pretty well. And I went with, you know, 6 in there because I need a lot of resistances. I don't have access to like a bunch of like OP charms. So this is like all skills, magic, you know, skill damage increase. It's great for boosting the damage, right? Like you can see 93,000. Yeah, almost 78,000. So big difference, right? 93,000 less than 50,000. So that staff, and that doesn't even take into account the minus to enemy arcane resistances. Let's check the helm. 93,000, right? 75,000. So it's a lot of damage. It's a lot of damage. And once again, it doesn't take into consideration the minus to enemy arcane resistance. That's why I like this helm. Now this belt, if I corrupt that, I could get, you know, the arcane skill up to be higher. I could get the minus to elemental to enemies arcane resistance to be, you know, better as well as the arcane skill damage increase. So this belt, 93,000 to, you know, 84,000. That's quite a bit of damage. All this stuff works together. This Disparate Glove, Shadow Occultist Wraps, right? +3 plus the +2 to Shadow Weave, which increase your magic skill damage, which doesn't work with all skills, I believe. It just is whatever the glove gives, I believe. Plus, you know, the minus to all enemy resistances. All this stuff worked together to reach that minus 74. And I had even more when I was running this necklace, Sacred Pendant. So this, you have skill haste increased by 30%, which is perfect. You got 2 all skills. You got, you know, magic skill damage increase flat. Great. That actually mine rolled. That's the worst one. It goes up to 46. And that's not even corrupted, but that's a tier SS. So it's much more expensive to corrupt that and riskier. And then you got, once again, minus to enemy arcane resistances. And this goes to minus 30. I only have a minus 13 because it was way too expensive to buy a better one. But like, could you imagine getting like a minus 25 to minus 30, and then if it's corrupted or whatever? But this is the white mage set, the holy one. I figured that neck was perfect. So if I put that on, but I prefer the magic find, 93,000 to over 100,000. Yeah, I mean 100,000. But you're getting the spell haste. Now, when you start adding spell haste, this is from 8 second to 4.8 second cooldown now. And look at that. 5.45 seconds. That's pretty nice. That's pretty nice. This is, I mean, it doesn't seem like much. It's like a 0.65 second. But it makes it so you can have 2 running at the same time for over half a second longer, right? So when you're doing, like, you need a lot of burst damage when you take out like an ag boss, or I mean, if you're doing, you know, like, what is it, like Reaper and all these like elite boss, Shiponia, yeah, it's very nice. So that works well, but I prefer the magic. Actually, I will leave this one because I want to show you guys the damage that I used to get before I get the magic find going. These boots are really good. They are for an illusionist, but the thing is, skill haste increased by 20%. These boots actually rolled really well, so like I had to get them. I bought them. I was like, man, ridiculous rolls on those, and I triple them, and I was using that on my illusionist. Yes, the movement speed is not that good, but if you're running, you know, the Enigma, it's fine. Enigma plus you run like Traveler's Map Journal, so you're gonna get a lot of movement speed increase, and then you're basically running with this. You're running like this, and you just delete everything, especially when you overlap them, right? They all get melted. So basically, the movement speed is useful. It's not all about teleporting, which you can do, but it's not going to be as smooth. If you just teleport, it feels clunky. You just want to run and melt stuff. The teleportation is to get out of problematic situations, but mostly to reach where you want to reach ASAP, right? So you basically want to fix your resistances. Yeah, I mean, I would be running double satanic eyes if, you know, if I needed more resist, which I do. I can definitely do it. But I figure like I'm close to 75, it's okay, right? So this works out really well. It's quite a bit of damage, right? And you can see the boots. Okay, so here 100,000 down to like almost 80,000, like 81,000. That's a lot of damage out of these boots, and you get the skill haste, right? And the thing is, triple socket, it can get up to, no, it is always a triple socket, so it's perfect. You want to go like full or you want to go triple ist or something to magic find, it works. It works, because if you have enough resistance, I would be running ists, and I would do the same. I would be running 6 ist for magic finding into my spell eater if I was able to have enough resistances. You know, if you corrupt your stuff more and you get charms that have all resistances with the torch and all that good stuff, much easier. Like, there's insane items in this game, and this character is not even where it could really be. Not even close. I mean, look at these insane charms that you could have, right? Like, there's even angelic ones, right? The angelic one for the arcane damage one, Torch of Shadow. Look at that, like all res, all attribute, all skills. It's beautiful. Like, so you can get a lot of resistances out of those, and it's not, I mean, there's even the satanic, the set one, even the Steve charm, and you can go 2-piece. You can go Steve necklace with Steve charm, and you're gonna get like 45 here charms. It's like, it's Steve again, or hello, it's me, Steve. And then you can see you can get up to 75 all attributes. It wasn't that good back in the days. It used to be like, what is it, 25 all attributes, the maximum value, but it was buffed. And then the 2-piece will unlock the 50% to all resistances. That's how you can fix your resistance real quick. But the odds of getting that is hard. You gotta farm Shiponia if you're SSF, or you gotta, like, you know, find it yourself or hit the market. It's pretty expensive for hardcore. It's like $1 million plus, which, you know, you can pick stuff up and sell it to the vendor to build gold, or just vendor sell everything on the market that you find. But like, when your high runes like are selling for only 100,000 to 300,000, it takes time. It's not like softcore and hardcore, right? So yeah, this is just 2 all skill and nothing crazy. I'm not even using a blood surge build, so I might be switching that. Actually, I might go with like double grand charms, or I'll just get like a more interesting one. So yeah, okay, finally I'll be showing the damage. So of course there's a lot of different ways that you can build this character with this and use this skill that I'm going to be showing you guys, the Bone Storm, right? So this is about the Bone Storm. The Demon Spawn using the Bone Storm is doing the biggest thing. The most powerful thing I've seen with the Bone Storm is the single target damage, which is much more enticing for me instead of the Illusionist, which the single target is lacking. It's mostly multi-target, right? But the single target on the Demon Spawn is much better, so that's why I can use my arcane gear on him and do so well. So to be honest, like, really budget build, because even the gloves, I think I've removed them. You can run this, these are corrupted, but skill haste increased by 15%, right? And you can get, I mean, yeah, 1 all skills. These are good early on. I was using that, and you know, lowering the cooldown while leveling up is really nice. And there's also the I've moved that shield. That shield was actually beast. I was running that while leveling. That thing has skill haste, and also, okay, the Lost Wizard's Barrier. All skills, but then you get skill haste up to 20%. Beautiful. And then you get all attributes, great. And then you get arcane skill damage increased by up to 25. So I have a high roll one. I didn't corrupt it, but like, yeah, you could corrupt all these things and it's much easier on satanic gear. But if, of course, if it's, I mean, not corrupt, but you could start up. If you corrupt, that's the problem. If it becomes corrupted, it's basically bricked. And that was able to boost my DPS a lot, right? And these are like dirt cheap, guys. Like, you can level with that, and then you can even use that in hell, as long as you have enough resistances in hardcore, perfectly fine. And I mean, they changed the flask. It used to be like rejuvenation potions, but now, I mean, look at that thing. 98% of life regeneration happens instantly. So that's basically life is back instantly for me. And that's very important, actually. That would be the first life flask you should have in hardcore, because sometimes I get brought to half HP by one hit from trash monsters in Hell 1, even with my damage reduction here, because I don't have physical and magical damage reduction stacked. But most importantly, the physical damage reduction needs to be stacked. I need to reach like 50% or more, which is another plus on the illusionist. You know, you don't need gear on the illusionist, you just get a lot of survivability increase. It's ridiculous. That's why it's like, for me, the best first character you can do in hardcore in a season. But yeah, the chest having damage reduced by X amount, super important. All those small hits, you can nullify them or tremendously reduce their damage, because it works after all your resistances. But what's dangerous is physical damage. Big physical damage hits, that's what can delete you. You spawn a tower and you don't step away and they all attack you at the same time, right? Like you can get deleted instantly. These are the relics that I have, so of course I want higher levels on those. Enemy arcane resistance reduction. This is just like all resistance, it's whatever for now. I think Triforce gets a skill up on the level 10 or something like that. Brace of life, just more life. It's really whatever, more life again. It's really like I need to work on getting the plus arcane skill one, the orb of the arcane orb of arcane or something like that it's called. I have it on my illusionist because that's +1 arcane skill, and then a plus arcane skill damage. And then I would get the Holy Bible, that's plus skill and plus, what is it, all attribute. I would get the staff that heals when you... No, I wouldn't get that because you're not spamming spells. I mean, boosting life, it's fine. Boosting life is fine. Okay. Now I'm going to show you guys the damage. Finally, it's a long one, but here we are. I will show the gameplay after, how it feels like clearing out, farming. Okay. So the teleport, that's the speed. It's not bad with the cast rate that I have. It's smooth enough. It's smooth enough. But yeah, that's the thing. I don't know how much, but it's possible that this deals a lot of damage when you max it out and you have the synergies and you're doing like, you know, she's spamming skills. I don't know if this counts as a skill spam, like if it's getting casted based on your cast rate and those rays are stacking, but like this could deal a lot of damage. But like you're just casting this, which has a massive cooldown. So I'm going to reset. Okay, so here we go. Look at the damage. That's just one, and now that's two, right? My gear is trash, guys. This is single target damage. Like, it's pretty nice. This is basically the DPS of my illusionist on multi-target. When I'm doing on the dummies down there, that's the damage of my illusionist, right? But I'm doing that on a single target. And the bigger the target, the easier it is for you to hit the target with, you know, all these, like, spinning runes, I guess. Spinning bones, isn't it? So I will show on these dummies here real quick. I'm not sure the best positioning for this. I feel like there's some runes that are not hitting. But yeah, you can see that the single target is higher. That's crazy. Why is it? Well, like I was testing stuff and I was very surprised by the fact that I'm doing more damage versus a big target, more single target damage. Like, why does it work like that? Well, I'll be doing more experimentation, but I think it's because of the cartilage buildup. I think there's something about it stacks up to 10 and then it explodes. And then the thing is, you reach the 10 stack when you're all hitting the same, all your bones are hitting the same big target. You're detonating the cartilage buildup very often. Very often. So it makes it so, because I think that maybe it doesn't detonate if you keep hitting different targets. When damaged by cartilage and bone monsters, when damaged by cartilage and bone, monsters are stacked up, and at 10 stacks they explode, spreading bone and cartilage around them, dealing arcane damage. I'm not quite sure why, but I think that's the reason. I think that is the reason I'm doing more damage in single target versus like a big target, like a act boss, or like, you know, those ultimate bosses. That might be why. The cartilage buildup is just getting detonated, like it's triggering so often. Because like when you're spinning, like look how many not runes, but it kind of look like runes, let's be honest. But look, like you have to position yourself so it hits everything. And there's another thing too. I need to talk about what did I set the points. But you can see there's like some explosions happening. That's like the cartilage buildup, I believe. Or it could be bleeding. I'm not quite sure. Could it be that the bleed is stacking? No, because I've tested with a higher chance to apply bleed and higher damage when the bleed is on the target. I've tried different things. I feel like that's because of... Like, I mean, I will test it further and come back to you guys, because, of course, I could skill out of cartilage buildup and then, like, try it with, like, just 1 point or no point, and then put points into it and figure out what is the reason that the damage is so high on single target, on big targets. So here, I go for chance to summon small cyclone of bone on hit. So I've tried the other ones, and basically the other ones turn the skill into a castable, a spammable skill without a cooldown, right? This one and this one, and this makes it so it doesn't expire, so the damage is much worse. So that's where it's at, because that 18, that's another thing. The proc chance on this, I don't know how many little, you know, bone storm I'm creating under the single target situation, right, on a big target, because with an 18% trigger rate and all the bones getting, like, hitting the target, it seems like it would be triggering a lot. So I go here, and then of course this is very important. You want to have as many projectile as possible, and the area of effect increase is nice as well, because it makes it easier to hit the same target. This is a must. You need to put 4 points in that one. Now, getting more damage when the target is bleeding is good in a single target situation. I only put 1 point, 3% proc rate for the bleed, so it gets to trigger. But I felt like when you're like rushing into a bunch of monsters in a pack, you want like damage to happen. So I got this maxed out for damage. Of course, first you're gonna just beeline to the cycloning bones, right? Level 40, 70, and 100 for to reach the first, second, and third point, the unlock, right? But then the projectile speed increased by 75%. That's basically 75% more damage, because those bones are not despawning when they're hitting the target. They're constantly spinning, and then you can have two going on at the same time, 2 bone storms. So there's something crazy happening with the creation of these small cyclones, and the fact this is spinning very fast, right? And yes, I mean, you could have a higher bleed chance, more bleed damage, but bleed seems to be ticking at a constant rate versus the bone storm just spinning out of control and just hitting constantly multiple times per second, especially when you have two running at the same time, the bleed is nothing compared to it. But of course, damage to bleeding targets increased by, if I can put more points into it, that's not bad, because actually bringing this to max and lowering this one will give you more damage, I believe. The problem is, if you're fighting like targets that die almost instantly, you're not gonna get them to bleed, right? Unless you have some kind of item that will make them bleed instantly. Then at that point, you could max this one and take points out of that one, because you need this for as many projectiles as possible, and you need this for the speed of the spin, right? So yeah, I think that might be a viable way to go about it. And actually, let's just do a test real quick. So I'm gonna respec out of it. So I'm gonna put 1 point, and I will max this, and I will max this, 3 point here. Let's test the damage, right? So now I have these maxed, yes. So basically I'll have 2 points in this one, and the bleed will trigger still with a 3% chance. Let's see. Now, if I cannot reach like 80 million DPS, I might not be in a good position. If I can't reach it, that means it's not working. So the 3% bleed might not be enough. You can see it's not working. I used to reach, my position's fine, everything. Maybe one of the rune is not hitting, one of the bone is not hitting. Let me restart with this position here. Oh, so it is working. Okay, max single target damage, that's the way to go. That's the way to go. Now it seems like a 3% on the bleed is enough, but it's really like, it's kind of struggling. I feel like the bleed's gonna fall off if like you're doing a boss battle and you have to dodge stuff and you cannot go in melee range. The bleed will be dropping, and then you have to reapply it with such a low chance. To be honest, like with that DPS, I just run the permanent damage increase, because like the multi-target will just be guaranteed damage increase. Look at that. I was doing like 81 million DPS, and now it's like around 85. To be honest, yeah, there was some bursts of like, if I reposition, maybe the positioning is not the best. Like you saw, like it went spike to 110 million, but that was both of the Bone Storm running at the same time. Because now you have to think that I'm actually starting the DPS counter when both are running, so that's why. So it seems it's gonna be stabilizing near 85 million because of the amount of skill haste that I have, with the uptime of, you know, mostly having one running instead of having two running. So yeah, you know, if you're doing a boss, you can quickly reset if you feel like you're gonna be able to keep the bleed on. Or another thing that you could do is you know, instead of putting like I don't know, like that's pretty nice, like 8% damage per point, you could remove both of these points and put more into it, and the bleed damage will go up, right? So that's the thing. I don't feel like it's worth it though, but %9%. The bleed damage, like I said, it's ticking at a constant rate. So now I'm starting with a single one, so of course it's not gonna look so good. You can see all these little like cyclones of bones under the target is nuts. When I crank up the volume, you can hear it, like you can hear the carnage. It is crazy. So I'm not sure if the outer bone, it might not be properly hitting. So let's actually start the next one. Okay, and reset this thing. It peaked 130 million initially, and now it's gonna stabilize down, of course. but I think the guaranteed damage is just way better. Like, even if you're like trying to burst down a boss, yes, you can precast the first one and then have 2 of them running and basically melt a boss nearly like just in a matter of seconds. And my gear is trash. My gear's trash. So imagine the amount of damage you can do if you go corrupted, heroic, and angelic. Right? I don't even have like empowered chests. A lot of my empowered chests got destroyed basically. That I created rune words, and I got my bullet hell on my demon slayer. I reached augment level 8. I think that was the max, or there's no max, I'm not quite sure. 8 or 9, and that was all lost. All my rune words with augment are gone. I don't know what happened on which update, but I think it might have been the update that they added flasks. And yeah, okay, so it's not working out. I'm pretty sure my positioning was fine. So of course the build is this. You need 2 points anyways in that one, right? So I would say that the best way to go is like this, right? So like I've tried a bit with some of the other stuff. Yes, you could reduce the cooldown of Bone Storm, but guys, you gotta go there. So that's like you put 2 at least here, then you go 2 and then put points, but it's not enough. 5 skill haste per point is not enough, because you can get pieces of gear with like 15, 20, 30% skill haste. It's much better than actually putting points here, because you gotta get there. Like, you gotta get there. It's bad. Another thing is that I don't like proc chances, right? That are low, that you need to invest a lot. I've tried this. It didn't work out too well at all. So yeah, that's interesting. That could be interesting in hardcore. Dodge chance. How does dodge work in hardcore? I kind of like didn't pay enough attention. Okay, am I blind? Like, okay, anyways, there's dodge somewhere that would explain how dodge works, I guess. But I guess, do you like straight up dodge the attack? Is there like an internal timer that you cannot dodge? Like, you cannot dodge like 100 attack at the same time? Like, maybe you can only do like 1 per few millisecond or something? Or it just, you can dodge physical and magical? If that's the case, it's not gonna be that good, because like it doesn't last that long, right? Anyways, I'll be testing stuff out with that later. So yeah, that's the build. So I've talked enough about it. Now I'll be showing you guys some gameplay, and you have to take into consideration that like you don't need this chest, you don't need enigma, you do not need enigma, you don't need spell either. You can go like with the gloves that I talked about. You can get boots like budget everything, and the single target damage will destroy the ag bosses at least, right? And if you're destroying ag boss in like hell, you know, in higher hell difficulties, then like you can melt, you know, those crazy boss to farm some OP gear. So what I like to farm lately, there's a lot of different places that you can farm, but since I have the expansion and I've noticed there's a very broken ring that can potentially drop in Act 8, I'm farming it there just in case I get it to drop. So I open the map, and now I just teleport, and I need to find a place. So basically you just want to keep the Bone Storm up, and while you're teleporting, right? So you just pay attention to the cooldown will pop up next to your character. It will say, okay, of course I'm not finding it early, but you can see like even when you teleport, like you can melt stuff, right? Did I miss it? Oh, it's down. Oh, it's up there. Okay, that's why. Okay, this place, the Naga Temple. I just go in there. I don't use keys because I mean I'm gonna finish all my keys instantly. Look at that. So basically, I'm just walking with the movement speed on my boots. It's not that much, right? Like, what is it, like 40%? and then the shot of Enigma giving like 40% movement speed. If I had movement phasing, that'd be great because I could like walk through monsters. But if like you get slowed down, it's fine. That means you didn't take out the target yet. But you can see I'm melting stuff, then you teleport like this. So Enigma makes it so you can farm these type of dungeons, reach them very quick. And that's why I'm staying in Hell 1. I just go back and I grab these. And you gotta be careful. Like if there's like a detonation effect that's happening, like fire about to blow up, you can teleport back and forth and stuff. You gotta be careful because that stuff will chunk you and it will delete your character if you're not careful in hardcore, of course. But getting like damage reduced by X amount on your body, on your chest, super good. That Defender's Justice shield stacked together, that's how to really make yourself kind of like immortal in Hell 1. Like even the damage of the enemy doesn't scale that high for the other. That's it. Now Volt Reset. Again, that's what I've been farming. I can do runs like this. Usually I leave the map up because opening the map kind of like freeze the game. If I see a chaos pillar, I'm gonna do it and I spawn away from it because it might be a crazy pack. Like you might not expect it, but you might get an insane pack that will just delete you. So these, okay, I don't like to run this one, so I'm gonna bounce out of it because I'm not gonna do it while I'm recording the video because I want something that something that's quick. That's one of the deadliest one. And like if you zone out and if you zone back into the zone at the start or something, it will teleport you back in it. If those arcane orb are stacked on top of each other, I'm pretty sure the damage stacked. And you saw the damage I'm taking, and that's what damage taken reduce on my body armor. So like if these orbs are stacked together, I don't want to test it out in hardcore, you can get basically instantly deleted, right? There's one of those that spawns those arcane orb that follow you. If you don't make those detonate, they will like chase you and your health will degenerate and you might get deleted before you even notice. Like sometimes it's not too obvious when you don't know. Blind playthrough, I didn't know about all these things, so yeah, I saw my health of my illusionist was like getting low. I was like, what is happening? And I noticed this ball following me. Anyways, yeah, you gotta be extra careful in hardcore. Always paying attention. You can't just like close your eyes and like, you know, face roll on your keyboard. So yeah, sometime you might get like some very deadly monsters. Like they're usually pretty big in size, and the physical damage, they will chunk me. They will reduce, like with one hit, they will reduce half of my health. So it's not cool. It's definitely not cool. So that's nice. It's right there at the entrance. So that's how I do it. And make your loot filter not, you know, too I mean, yes, usually if I want a gold farm because it's in a hardcore and like, you know, like stuff sells for not much on the marketplace compared to in standard. So I would pick up like all the S tier like rares and the magic ones even, especially the ones that sell for more, like weapons and stuff. And then I would just vendor everything, right? But then the runs will be quite slow, and I was testing it. The kill speed that I'm having now, today I found like multiple satanic dice. I found like 2 or 3, right? And I found a bunch of high runes, and I found what's the key again? Yeah, I'll show you guys. I found a lot of chaos keys. I'm selling the chaos keys because they're selling for a decent amount. And I'll show you guys the key I'm talking about. Oh, I didn't even list it yet. No one's selling it. I found this today. Wait a second. I found the blacksmith mallet. Now I think someone that's rich and they have like a GG. Let's say I have a 350 damage taken reduced by 350. You know, like a base. Maybe it's exceptional. Maybe there's like defense increase and other stuff, like an insane one, or maybe like a 5 all skills with like defense increase, something like that. And you're not getting the amount of socket you want. You basically run this thing, it deletes sockets from a common item, and you can try your luck at random sockets again. So someone that's rich might want to like keep rolling their GG base. It could be like, it could be a weapon, it could be, you know, it could be body armor, it could be boots. I think you can get like what is it, 40% crit damage or more on base boots with movement speed. That's a pretty nice one to roll. You can get a helm with like 5 all skills. So like if you want to re-roll the socket, that's how you do it. So someone might pay a lot. So I'm not sure how much it sells for because no one has it up. So I'll be trying like with a high price and see if it, you know, if it sells. So yeah, I found like a Sir, found 2 Xo, 2 Key today. Yeah, I found that blacksmith mallet. I found a lot of lamp pole, a bunch of like 2 ist or 1 ist, a vex, yeah, and that's on top of like finding. Actually, I found this base. Where is it? Today I found a damage taken reduced by 340. I found that today, right? That's insane. I gotta make sure I'm not deleting this. Good lord. Okay, I gotta put it back here because this I'm gonna dump this. I'm gonna sell all that, right? There's a bunch of new gear that they added to the game, right? Like there's a lot of gear. Like it's the first time I see them, and like I ID them and I look, like a lot of gear was added into the game, like stuff that's not expensive. Like you can build a character, right? Like this thing I found. That's pretty insane. Like early on, like fire enchant increase, like that gives you like the burn and fire damage trigger on, when even you cast spell, and then like you got 5,000 additional fire damage. Like my samurai with that spinning orbiting thing around, like would get a lot of damage early on. That would be crazy. And then you can get like enemy fire resistance reduction, and then you can stack a bunch of additive fire damage. That could be a build right there. And then you got the burning happening, I guess, with the fire enchant as well. Plus you got physical damage on that thing, so that means you can leech life and mana. Because I'm gonna go do a samurai as my 3rd character. I mean my 4th character after making 2 illusionists, one in SSF, in Odyssey, and one in Trade Hardcore. So yeah, I mean, like, what you guys think about this build? I feel like based on my knowledge in Hero Siege, insane single target versus boss, like it makes my life so much easier in hardcore, right? I even got a base pair of boots. I didn't list them yet, and I got another one. What is it? So I got this one here. I can definitely create something out of that temporarily, like for another character, I guess. Okay, +5 sentry skills, but I got a +5 summon skills with movement speed. That might be last night. I got that. I put it up for sale on the marketplace just by speed farming. Actually, I got these boosts as well, so I would make something into those before making into this, because defense increase and yeah, anyways, more life though. No, it's about the same life. So yeah, I would create something into this first. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. I'm having a blast. The Demonspawn is broken, and yeah, Illusionist will be next. Build guide for that. Insane first character for hardcore in a new season. Like, I was surprised. Like, I've played a Necromancer, I've played the Samurai extensively, the Demon Slayer quite a lot, but it's in hardcore. Like, I haven't done all the endgame content because, like, yeah, I gotta stay alive, right? And it's basically a blind playthrough. I'm not checking a bunch of guides. And the XO, which I didn't push But all these classes got improved somehow because like you can get some insane stuff going with all this. There's a lot of experimentation needs to happen. So yeah, I'd like to hear what you guys think about all that in the comment section. I'm Astranox. Good luck with all ya do. Peace out for now.